When you think of cobblers, you think of apple, peach, blueberry, but today we're going savory instead of sweet. We're in the kitchen with John Barricelli from the SoNo Baking Company and Cafe located in South Norwalk. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you?
It's great to have you here with us.
Thank you very much.
And so what are we making today?
It's a play on words, but it's basically a tomato pie. We call it a cobbler because it has a cobbler crust on top. Inside of that crust, you have a little Jarlsberg cheese, some fresh thyme. So it's a pie crust made with a savory topping, and inside are just some beautiful tomatoes. End of the summer, you know, this is a great thing to do with all those tomatoes you have.
Good time to use some of those tomatoes.
And you don't have to cut them, just wash them, put them in a bowl, and then...
I'm actually growing some in my own garden, so I'm looking forward to this.
Look at that beautiful. You got some reds, some oranges. Some...
Now, how do you know when these are ready to pick?
Yeah, just when there's no... I mean, this one's a little young. You could see a little green on the top. This one's perfect, you know. So basically, when they're full, vine ripe, you want them to stay on the vine as long as possible and pick them when they literally fall off of the stem.
Okay.
You know, you'll know. So here I just have like 2 tablespoons of olive oil and a large shallot. And we're not really browning this. We just want to melt it, kind of. You want to just soften it. That's 2 cloves of garlic. And this is a nice size onion.
You put it all in there?
All in there.
All one time?
All in one time because it's all going to end up on top of the tomatoes. So, again, you just want it to blend and meld and have a little bit of... So I need you to help me roll out a little bit of dough for the top of this cobbler.
All right, well, I told you, I warned you that I'm not great at this, so...
It's okay. We work with you. Yes, we are.
Okay.
This is the dough that all the recipes will be on our website, sonobaking.com.
Now, this is also in your cookbook. Can we take a picture of that right now, Tracy? Let's take a look at this fabulous cookbook. And this is the name of the cookbook is?
The SoNo Baking Company Cookbook.
Easy to
remember.
Very easy to remember.
So,
okay.
We like to make our doughs ahead of time, just so they stay nice and cold. You start with cold ingredients.
It is cold.
It's nice and cold. It's easy to roll out.
Okay.
And what I always tell people is to, let me just give this a quick stir.
Okay, I want to tell everybody I also wash my hands, so I'm all set. So we're blending all those fabulous smells right there.
Yep, and again, you're just softening them. We're getting a little bit of color, but that doesn't really matter. You just want to soften it. You can smell that garlic.
Yes,
you can.
The onions, everything, shallots.
The shallot is basically a sweet onion, so it's kind of... So when I roll, I tell people to always start in the center and roll in one direction.
Okay.
And don't be afraid. The dough is cold.
You got to push really hard, don't you?
You do. You do.
Okay.
And then instead of rolling, you know, this way next, what I like to do is stop and turn the dough.
Oh.
This way you're constantly rolling in the same direction, and you're applying the same amount of pressure. Some people are lefty, some people are righty, so, you know, sometimes...
Now I twist it again?
Exactly. And just keep going until you basically want to get to the size of the pie plate.
Oh, I need to get going. It needs to be a lot bigger than this.
So now, here, this is ready to go. You can see how fast that was.
It was very fast.
It's just, you know, a little translucent. They're softened.
Okay.
You dump them right on top of the tomatoes.
Just like that? You leave the tomatoes that way?
Yep. You don't have to cut them.
Cut them?
Nope. They're going to pop in the oven under the heat.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
And then pinch of sugar, which always helps out with tomatoes. Nice pinch of salt. This is black pepper.
Okay.
It's a really neat grinder. So if you're cooking with one hand, you can just grind with the other. And then the key ingredient for any cobbler is flour, whether it's blueberries or peaches or anything. And we're going to put in a nice healthy amount. Again, all these recipes will be on our website and eventually your website also.
Absolutely. So, and let's talk about some of the kudos you've received this week.
Connecticut Magazine just gave us Best Bakery in Connecticut.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. And last month we got Best Bakery from Moffley Publications, which is Greenwich, New Canaan, Wilton, Westport, Fairfield. So we're doing fairly okay for ourselves right now.
Oh, absolutely. Now I understand that you have quite an open kitchen at your location.
Yes, it's actually quite a feature. So here, let me just help you here. We're going to piece this together a little. All right.
Is it too thin?
Nope, not at all. Like I said, you want to make sure that it's big enough to cover the top rim.
Okay.
So just roll it
Look at this. All right.
We kind of do this thing. Go this way.
Okay.
Right, and if you see it's getting too thin in one area, just apply
Just level it.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I'll do it. Okay. So anyway, you were telling me about the open kitchen area that you have.
The kids come, they sit at the bar. We have a nice bar area, and they can look right into the kitchen and watch everybody bake while the parents enjoy themselves at the tables. So now this gets dumped into a Pyrex or any kind of baking dish, ceramic, and you want to make sure that you get everything in, especially that flour, because that flour is what's going to thicken this after it comes to a boil.
Is that
in the
the
oven.
last thing?
That's it.
Okay. How am I doing with
I
this?
think you're doing good.
Do you want
I
it
think
thinner?
you're fine. Yep.
Okay.
Now, the most important part, so that crust stays on the cobbler,
Yes.
on the pie pan, is a little egg wash around the rim.
Okay.
And that acts like a glue. Okay.
All
and
right.
then, now, let me just show you a little trick we had
ahead.
about getting this. Just basically roll it onto the pie, and then you roll it over.
So I do okay?
You did awesome. Very little waste, right? You got very little
Exactly.
waste. Now, you don't even have to trim this, because this is a cobbler. It's very rustic. It's not a refined dessert. It's just kind of push the crust. Yep, that's
Just push it.
Up and over the edge.
Okay.
If you have to double it up, you can see how the finished product looks. I don't cut it. I want to make sure, because there's nothing really else you can do with this dough when it's finished. All right, and then go ahead and paint the top with the egg wash. It's just a whole egg beaten.
And what does this do?
Color.
All right. All over?
All over.
Okay.
You can see how nice and evenly browned it is.
Okay.
You want to make sure you get all the crevices. Now, my oven's preheated to 375.
Okay.
This bakes for about 45 to 55 minutes, depending on your oven.
Yes, yes.
We always put a little
My oven tends to cook a little
range in
faster
there.
than most.
But what you want to do is, and I love these glass dishes, you want to make sure that there's bubbling going on in there, that everything's popped, and that
so you can
see
watch
that
it,
it's
so you
thickened.
can see it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you need a glass.
Yeah, and you can see in here,
plate.
you can
Okay.
still see a little bit of liquid in the bottom, but you can also see that it thickened up quite
I need
nicely.
to do the edges as well?
Edges as well.
Okay.
And then we just finish it with some more Jarlsberg cheese on top.
Now, we really used the freshest ingredients, didn't we?
Yeah, you saw everything. Tomatoes, onions, scallions, shallots.
Yes.
Garlic.
And you get this off
fresh
from the
thyme.
farmer's market?
Yep, everything is available. You know, we're here in New Haven 3 times a week at the farmers markets. We do
Yes.
Worcester Square, Edgewood Park, and we also do downtown City Hall, right around the corner.
So we
from
can
here.
catch you there?
On Wednesdays, yes.
Excellent.
Between 11 and 3.
So if you ever want to see John, you may want to go over there and get some
Okay, you did great. Let me just
great
get
tips on how to cook. Okay, here we go.
the most important part is the vent. So
Okay.
all that moisture from the tomatoes, when they start to cook, comes out, and you're ready to go. I would suggest putting this on a sheet pan.
Yes.
So if anything bubbles over, it'll fall onto the sheet pan and not onto the bottom of your oven. And that's about it.
Oh, that was pretty
We have
simple.
a tomato cobbler.
And there's
then
the finished product.
this goes great with a salad or on its own. You can do these in individual ramekins. You don't have to do them as one big thing.
Right.
And you can see that nice crunch.
Oh, beautiful
And then,
crust.
yes, there's all the different...
And the tomatoes are still whole.
They're still whole. They melt a little. I guess you would say... And here's it.
Okay, I'm going to try
I want
that.
you to try it
Okay,
because
I'm gonna
I've
try
had
the
this already for
tomatoes.
breakfast today.
Oh, you had this for breakfast, but you can
I
have
always
this
make
for
a couple extra.
breakfast.
It's great for breakfast. It's great for
Lunch.
Sunday brunch. Yes, absolutely. Light dinner. And
very tasty, John.
great at a barbecue.